What I'm about to tell you could be the key to transforming your financial life. And the best thing, it's easier than you think. Stay with me until the end, because every second of this video could be the step you're missing to achieve everything you've always dreamed of. Money is not just bills or numbers in a bank account. It is an energy that is constantly moving. It's something we all want. But have you ever wondered why it sometimes seems to slip through our hands? The truth is that since we were little, we have learned ideas that do not help us at all. Phrases like, money does not buy happiness, or the rich are selfish, fill us with limiting beliefs. These ideas are not yours, but you adopted them, and they now influence how you relate to money. And that relationship is what defines whether money flows to you or stays away. Here's something that few know. Money responds to how you treat it. If you see it as something unattainable, as an enemy, or as something that only some have, then it will stay far away. But what happens if you start to see it differently? Imagine that money is like a friend who wants to help you, but needs trust to approach you. If you treat it as a problem or something scary, it will just walk away. Changing your relationship with money is not complicated, but it does require a fundamental step: changing your thoughts and feelings towards it. Instead of thinking that it's hard to come by, start thinking that money comes easily when you take the right actions. It seems simple, but this mental shift is a powerful trigger. Think about this. How many times have you felt frustrated because the money doesn't come? That frustration creates resistance, and the more you focus on what you lack, the harder it is to attract it. What you need is to start being grateful for what you already have, no matter how small. This gratitude opens the doors for more money to flow to you. Does it sound like magic? Maybe, but it's actually pure logic. When you change your mentality, your decisions also change, and with them, the results you obtain. Get ready, because what I am going to tell you in the following steps can completely transform your relationship with money. It's not about doing impossible things or working to the point of exhaustion, but about understanding how this energy works and how you can align with it so that everything flows more naturally. Surely you have ever wanted something with all your might. You have visualized it. You have been excited, but nothing happened. It's frustrating, I know. And here is the big problem. We have been made to believe that wanting something intensely is enough for it to come. But the truth is that there is something much deeper behind it. The most common mistake we make is getting stuck in desire without realizing that we are full of doubts or fears that contradict what we want. It's like saying, I want more money, but at the same time thinking, I don't know if I deserve it, or I'm sure it will be very difficult. That internal conflict is what blocks your desires. For example, imagine you want to start a business. You have the idea, you feel the excitement, but then the fear appears. What if it doesn't work? What if I lose money? That fear, although it may seem small, is enough to stop everything. The same thing happens when you want something bigger, like changing your financial life. If you are not aligned with what you want, it will be almost impossible for it to come true. This does not mean that you should eliminate all your fears at once, but it does mean that you should begin to identify and question them. Is it really that difficult to get what you want, or is it just a belief that you have carried for years? The key is to connect your desires with your actions. Wishing for something is not enough if your thoughts and emotions are elsewhere. Therefore, before taking the next step, it is important that you be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, what is really holding me back? Is it fear of failure, of what others will say, or simply a lack of confidence in myself? When you manage to identify that obstacle, you are already halfway there, because now you know what you have to work on to move forward. So, if you feel like your desires are not coming true, it is not because you are not wanting enough. It's because there is something inside you that needs to adjust to be in tune with what you want. And don't worry, in the next steps, I'm going to show you how to do it. What comes now can be the difference between continuing to dream or starting to live what you have wanted so much. Did you know that wishing for something is worthless if you don't take action? But not just any action, but one that is aligned with what you really want. Sometimes we try very hard, work overtime, do more than we can, and still we don't achieve what we seek. Because those actions are guided by fear, desperation, or even, what will they say? That creates a blockage, as if you were swimming against the current. Therefore, it is crucial to understand this principle. Your actions must be in harmony with what you feel and think. Let me explain it better with an example. Let's say you want to save for a trip, but every time you spend money on something else, you think, I'm never going to make it. In this case, although you are taking action, saving, your mind is focused on the lack. That sabotages all your effort because you are not acting from confidence, but from doubt. On the contrary, when you decide that this journey is your priority and every action you take is supported by the thought, I can do it, you begin to move in a completely different direction. The power of aligned action is that you don't need to force things. Instead of exhausting yourself doing 1,000 aimless things, you focus your energy on small steps that are consistent with what you want. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. Ask yourself, what can I do today that will get me closer to my goal, but at the same time make me feel good about my decision? When you start acting from that place, the universe, or whatever you want to call it, begins to open doors for you that previously seemed closed. It's amazing how things start to flow when you stop acting from scarcity and start moving from trust. So here's the trick. Align your thoughts, emotions, and actions, and you'll see how money, opportunities, or whatever you're looking for start coming in ways you never imagined. If there is something that can change your life at this very moment, it is learning to master your mind. Many people believe that attracting money or abundance is something external. Getting a better job, winning the lottery, finding a profitable business. But here's the secret. It all starts in your mind. What you believe about yourself and the world determines what you experience. If you think that money is hard to come by, or that abundance is only for a few, that will be exactly what you live. There's nothing complicated about the mental trick that unlocks abundance, but it does take practice. It all starts with a simple question. What kind of thoughts am I feeding every day? Most of us are not even aware of what we think. We live on autopilot, repeating the same stories of lack over and over again. If you stop today and start observing your thoughts, you will realize how many of them are negative or limiting. And here's the first step. Replace them with thoughts that reinforce abundance. For example, instead of thinking, I never have enough, you can tell yourself, there are always opportunities for me. At first, it may seem strange, like you're lying to yourself. But the more you repeat these thoughts, the more they start to feel real. Your mind works like a sponge. It absorbs what you give it. So make sure you give it positive and expansive thoughts. This not only changes how you feel, but also affects the decisions you make. A mind focused on abundance looks for solutions, while a mind focused on lack only sees problems. So if you want to unlock abundance, start here. You don't need to change everything at once. Just start being more aware of what you think and choose thoughts that are aligned with the life you want. Do this, and you'll see how things start to change, sometimes in ways you can't even explain. You are not watching this video by chance. You are here because the universe has a message for you. If you feel in your heart that this is your moment, write in the comments, I am ready to receive. To like this video and subscribe to the channel. Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try to change, something is holding you back? Many times that something is not inside you, but around you. Your environment, the people you live with, the conversations you hear every day. All of this has a direct impact on your flow of wealth. If you are surrounded by people who always complain about money, who say things like, life is difficult, or money is for the rich, those ideas inevitably rub off on you. Without realizing it, you begin to see the world from that same perspective. But here's the good news. You can change your environment. It doesn't necessarily mean distancing yourself from the people you love, but you can be more selective about what you allow into your mind. If there are no people in your close circle who talk about opportunities or who inspire you to grow, then look for that encouragement elsewhere. Read books that talk about abundance. Listen to podcasts of people who have already achieved what you want. Surround yourself with ideas that push you forward. The environment not only includes people, but also places. Think about how you feel when you are in a clean, organized, and positive energy space, compared to a messy, chaotic space. That state of your environment directly affects how you feel, and therefore the decisions you make. When you start taking care of your physical and emotional space, you create fertile ground for money and opportunities to come into your life. So, if you feel like things aren't flowing, ask yourself, how is my environment? Is he supporting me or holding me back? Make small changes and watch your energy begin to transform. The environment is a reflection of your interior, and by adjusting it, you are sending a clear signal. You are ready for more. One of the biggest mistakes we make is to stay in the I want. We want more money. We want a better life. We want to fulfill our dreams. But there we stay, wanting. The problem with this is that when you just want something, you are focusing on the lack of it in your life. Wanting, although it seems like a positive thing, sometimes reinforces the idea that you don't have what you want. So how do you go from wanting to receiving? Here comes a small ritual that can change everything. The first thing is to be grateful for what you already have, even if it seems little. It may sound counterintuitive, but when you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, you begin to open up to more. Think about this. The universe, or life, whatever you prefer to call it, responds to your energy. If your energy is gratitude, you are saying, I am ready for more. But if your energy is one of lack, you are blocking that flow. The ritual is simple. Each morning, spend a few minutes writing down or saying out loud 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be huge things. They can be as simple as thank you for having a roof over my head, or thank you that I have food on the table today. The next step is to visualize as if you already have what you want. But it's not enough to imagine it. You have to feel it. How would you feel if that money you need so much was already in your hands? How would you act? What decisions would you make? This exercise isn't just for daydreaming. It's for you to start aligning yourself with the version of yourself that already has what you want. When you do this consistently, not only does your thinking change, you also start to take different actions, and those actions move you closer to your goals. Finally, trust. Sometimes we do everything right, but our lack of patience sabotages us. We want immediate results, and if we don't see them, we think nothing is working. But here's the truth. Everything comes at the right time, and your job is to stay focused and open to receive. This ritual is not magic, but if you do it with intention, I assure you that you will begin to see surprising changes in your life. Sometimes what we need most is to know that someone else already did it. Because let's be honest, it can be hard to believe it's possible when nothing seems to work. But here, I want to share with you some real stories of people who made small changes and managed to transform their relationship with money. The interesting thing is that they all started from scratch, without magic tricks or complicated formulas. One of them is Laura, a single mother who was up to her neck in debt. For years, he believed he would never get out of that situation. But one day he decided to do something different. Instead of focusing on what he didn't have, he started looking for ways to generate a little extra income while restructuring his debt. It wasn't easy, but what made the difference was his mentality. Laura began to tell herself, "This is temporary. I can change my situation." That internal change led her to find creative solutions, and in less than 2 years, she not only got out of debt, but also started a business that today gives her financial stability. Another story is that of Pedro, a young man who had always believed that money was for others, not for him. Pedro decided to try something new. He changed his social circle and began to surround himself with people who had already achieved what he wanted. He learned from them, adopted their habits, and little by little, he began to see results. What once seemed impossible to him, like saving or investing, became part of his daily life. These stories have something in common, a change in thinking. And that's something you can do too. No matter what your situation is now, there is always a way to start. The important thing is to believe that you can and be willing to take the necessary steps. Sometimes what really holds us back is not what we do, but what we hold on to. And here's an uncomfortable truth. There are things you need to let go of if you want money to flow into your life. It can be a belief, a habit, or even people who no longer fit your path. Letting go is not always easy, but it is necessary. Think about this. When you carry a backpack full of useless things, it is difficult to move forward. The same thing happens with your life. If you cling to the idea that money is hard to earn, or I will never be successful, you are carrying a weight that prevents you from moving forward. These beliefs usually come from past experiences or things we were taught, but that doesn't mean they have to define your future. Ask yourself this question. What ideas about money do I need to let go of to move forward? The answer may be revealing. It is also important to let go of fear. Many times, the fear of losing stops us from winning. For example, you may be hesitant to invest in something that could change your life because you're afraid it won't work. But what if it does work? Fear will always be there, but it cannot be the one that makes the decisions for you. Let go and trust that you are taking the right path. Remember that letting go is not an act of loss, but of liberation. It is creating space for new things to arrive. And when you start letting go of what no longer serves you, you are sending a clear message. I am ready for more. That is the first step to open the doors to change. You already have the pieces of the puzzle. Now it's time to put them into practice. If you have come this far, it is because you are really ready to make a change in your life. And the best of all is that you don't need to wait weeks or months to get started. You can do it right now. Here's a simple but powerful exercise. Take a piece of paper and write 3 things you want in your financial life. Then, next to each one, write one small step you can take today to get closer to them. The trick is to start with something small but meaningful. For example, if your goal is to save, start by setting aside a symbolic amount today. If your goal is to generate more income, find an idea or connect with someone who can help you take the first step. The important thing is that every action you take is aligned with the result you want. Also, start paying attention to how you talk and think about money. Every time you find yourself saying something negative like, I can't afford it, or this is too expensive, change it to something positive like, I'm looking for a way, or I can do it given time. This small change in your language has a huge impact on your mindset. The most important thing is to trust the process. Sometimes the results are not immediate, but every step you take brings you closer to your goals. Do this right now and watch how things start to change. The changes may be small at first, but if you keep going, you'll be surprised how far you can go. At this point, the only thing that can stop you is yourself. You have it all. The tools, the knowledge, and, above all, the power to transform your relationship with money and abundance. But here is the key that many forget. It is not enough to know it. You have to live it. And living it means trusting that everything you have learned works, taking action without fear, and opening yourself to receive without limits. One of the biggest obstacles is doubt, that little voice in your head that says, what if this doesn't work for me? Let me tell you something important. That doubt is normal, but it is not real. It's just a reflection of old beliefs that have been with you for years. Now you have the opportunity to replace it with something much more powerful, the certainty that you can create the life you want. Because, let's be honest, if you don't believe in yourself, who will? The next step is to take action. And here's the trick. You don't need to know all the details along the way. You just need to take the first step. Most people become paralyzed because they think they have to have everything figured out before they start. But the truth is that the path is revealed as you go. Do you want more income? Start by looking for an idea, talking to someone who is already where you want to go, or trying something new. Do you want to manage your money better? Start today, even with a small amount. Action, no matter how small, has a cumulative effect. And finally, open the doors to receive. This seems obvious, but it is not. Many times we ask for something, but when it arrives, we reject it because we believe that we do not deserve it or that it is not enough. Learn to receive without judging, without fear, and without setting conditions. When someone offers you help, say yes, thank you. When you see an opportunity, take it. Every time you receive, you are sending a signal to the universe that you are ready for more. The real secret is consistency. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to stay on track. There will be days when you will doubt or feel like you are not moving forward, but those days are the ones that matter most. Because every time you decide to move forward, you are one step closer to turning your desires into reality. So here's my challenge to you. Today, not tomorrow or next week, take concrete action. Do something that brings you closer to your goals, something that makes you feel like you are moving forward. And when you do, celebrate, because every small step is a victory. Remember, money and abundance are not things you have to chase. They are things you attract when you become someone who deserves them. And you are already that person. You just need to act like it.